Grand Tours have always sought ways to introduce new challenges. The Tour de France reintroduced cobblestone sectors in 2004, adding a treacherous element to the race. In 2010, the Giro D'Italia embraced the unpredictable and new roads from Strade Bianche, highlighting the white gravel roads of Tuscany. Riders and teams knew it would be difficult, but no one could have predicted just how brutal the conditions would become. Despite being a relatively young race, founded only 3 years prior, Strade Bianche had already captured the imagination of cycling fans. Thus, Stage 7 of the 2010 Giro D'Italia ventured deep into Tuscany, where torrential rain and gravel roads would transform the race into an unforgettable spectacle. What had been expected to just be a tactical affair turned into a battle of survival, testing both physical endurance and mental fortitude. Heading into the stage, the general classification battle was beginning to take shape. Vincenzo Nibali, an emerging Italian star, donned the maglia rosa, leading his formidable Liquigas team. His mentor and teammate Ivan Basso, himself a former Giro champion, remained in contention, hoping to reclaim past glory. The team had numbers and strength, but as the day unfolded, all those plans would be thrown into chaos. Alexander Vinokourov, the Kazakh powerhouse, was mounting a comeback after a retirement from racing due to a doping scandal. Determined to prove himself once again, he approached the stage with a mix of aggression and caution, knowing that a strong performance here would cement his return. Meanwhile, reigning world champion Cadel Evans had signed for the new team BMC and was intent on making a statement in Italy. Evans had long been seen as a nearly man in Grand Tours, strong, consistent, but lacking the decisive moments that define champions. That perception would change on this stage, as he faced off against the elements and his fiercest rivals. Spanning 222 kilometers, the stage was a relentless test of endurance. The foreboding weather conditions were evident from the outset. Riders donned rain jackets and tucked caps under helmets, bracing for a brutal day in the saddle. The rain would only intensify, turning the roads into treacherous ribbons of mud, reducing visibility, and making traction an impossible luxury. With 50 kilometers remaining, the leaders held a tenuous 2-minute advantage over the peloton, with stragglers already falling behind. Astana, committed to Vinokourov, controlled the tempo, ensuring their leader would enter the decisive gravel sectors in prime position. Liquigas, on the other hand, was struggling to maintain order in the worsening conditions. Riders fought to stay upright as their tires skidded unpredictably. It was a war of attrition. Then came disaster for Liquigas. On a treacherous descent, Michele Scarponi lost control, triggering a domino effect. Nibali tumbled into a roadside ditch, while Basso, delayed from an earlier visit to the team car, crashed on the same turn. All their plans collapsed in an instant. Quote, "I hurt my leg, and for a few minutes, I could barely move the pedals." Sensing vulnerability, the rest of the race showed no mercy. Vinokourov and Evans seized the moment, accelerating away. With 30 kilometers remaining on terrain this unforgiving, waiting was not an option. Quote, "I'm sorry that Nibali crashed in a key moment of the race, but it's difficult to be a gentleman 30 kilometers from the finish, with the dirt roads to come. I was at the front because it was a critical part of the race, and I wanted to hit the dirt roads first. You're trying to race like a gentleman, but in sport, you don't roll out the red carpet for your competitors either. There are no prizes for being the most gentlemanly in sport." As the race entered the first gravel sector, with just over 20 kilometers to go, chaos ensued. Visibility was nearly non-existent, mud clogged drivetrains, and even seasoned professionals struggled to keep their balance. The roads had become a battlefield, where mechanical misfortune or a single lapse in concentration could spell the end of one's ambitions. "I couldn't see anything," Vino recalled. "Perhaps 1 or 2 meters maximum. I practically did that descent blindfolded. It was that bad, and I didn't know the course at all." With 9 kilometers left, Evans and Vinokourov emerged as the strongest. Behind them, Damiano Cunego, Stefano Garzelli, and John Gadret fought desperately to bridge the gap, but it was too late. The race had boiled down to a two-man duel. The last 4 kilometers were paved, but the agony persisted. Vinokurov launched the first attack. Evans responded, gritting his teeth, knowing the battle was not yet over. Cunego lurked behind, waiting for a mistake. Ultimately, the world champion triumphed. Cadel Evans, drenched in mud, fought through exhaustion to claim victory, an emphatic display of resilience on one of the Giro's most grueling days. This was a day that would enter cycling folklore. The mud, the grit, the triumph. A day when the Giro and the Strade Bianche fused to create a legendary spectacle and one of the greatest Giro stages of all time.